Welcome back, everyone. I am Friar Tuck, and this is my epoch. Here, I'm going to show you something that you guys might really, truly enjoy. Let's see if I can get it in camera view. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? All right, I hope you enjoyed that view. I am sitting in a little park here, as you can see, and having this conversation with you. And what I'd like to talk about is, a lot of people wonder, well, how do you fix the homeless situation? Well, we need to give more benefits to the current homeless. We need to do this for the current homeless. We need to offer these services and these benefits for the current homeless. But the thing is when you're thinking of a solution to the homeless to the homeless problem, you've got to think about the next guy that is coming out. You not think about the guy that's already out there. The guy that's already out there has already been through the grinder. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened, and the likelihood that they will be able to get off the streets and stay off the streets, especially if it's been something long term and stuff like that. So some of the zombies that we see walking around, okay? And those guys are, we just have to wait for them to age out of the system in so many ways. And being out here and this lifestyle, it can be a very short life. So it won't be long before they age out of the system. And I'm saying that to be polite as possible. But, with that being said, how do you fix the homeless problem? Well, it starts thinking about the next person that comes out. Okay, when you're thinking of how do I solve something, you got to realize the person that comes out for the first time. Okay, you can't stop them from becoming homeless. Okay, you can't stop the process. Don't even make the attempt to stop the process. What you've got to do is you got to be able to create a situation through benefits, through services, through actions that help a person do enough development to where, because there's more to being homeless than, oh, well, you lost your job, you can't afford to pay your rent. There's a mental health aspect of it. There is the psychological trauma of it. There is the physical toll that it takes on the body. There is the emotional toll that it takes on the body. And, all we're thinking about is, oh, well, they just need a roof over their head and they'll be fine. No, because there was so many underlying things that were happening there that led to them being homeless, that led to them not being able to have the money to be able to make the payment, okay, for rent. So you gotta take that point of view, okay. And so what is a list of services? What is it that it's not even services? What would be your action plan? Because this is a question that I'm going to ask you, the community. What is your action plan? If somebody came to you and said, look, I am looking at, we need to solve the homeless crisis. You are the only person that knows how, because you've been watching Friar Tuck and you have enough knowledge of what's going on with the homeless that you can now give us some educated advice. Okay, what would you advise? How would you to pinpoint that target, which I talked about, which is the person that's newly homeless, bring them to a point to where, one, they're not dealing with the trauma, but also bring them to a point to where once they get off the streets, that they have a plan to keep them off the streets forever, that they're not just taking a job out of necessity to be able to pay rent, that they're actually taking a job that they can actually form a long-term career at, okay, something that's going to stick with them for years to come, okay, that's going to provide them the stability that they need, not only in a work environment but in life environment. Okay, what plan would you put forward? Okay, I'd love to read that in the comments, but I'm going to give you my take. What do I think the homeless really could benefit from? At least the new people coming out, first timers, people that are dealing with it chronically but still have the will to be able to get out. How would I deal with it? And a lot of it is it's about reducing rent. Okay, right now there is an implosion in the commercial real estate market, which means all those buildings are going to become vacant and they're going to become abandoned. Okay, this is an opportunity to severely drop the rental prices by expanding housing, by retrofitting and converting a lot of these office buildings into single room occupancies. Okay, and so those that are homeless or that go homeless for the first time, it's nothing more than maybe a 10 by 12 or like a 15 by 18 room. It's nothing big, just enough for a kitchenette, a shared bathroom, and you've got a place to sleep and 4 walls. Okay, it's nothing extravagant. Okay, but I think that if the city were to use something like, let's say, eminent domain, to where they were able to take a lot of these buildings that are going to become abandoned or that have no ownership because of the imploding commercial real estate market, I would use eminent domain in those instances. And not only that, with the retrofitting and stuff like that, a lot of the homeless, not only could you put them to work, okay, doing the actual retrofitting, because they want to make money regardless of what they use it on. They do want to make money, and it is a way to be able to get labor and to be able to use it as collateral. So let's say they can get into the first little bit of housing. Okay, the second thing that I would do, there's a lot of city services like cleaning up the streets, managing the parks, and doing things like that. There's a lot of city services that the city pays a lot of people a decent amount of money for. Okay, and the way that you can, for a lot of these homeless that are coming out, they just need a place to go to work while they're working on themselves, because first of all, they come into that building, they need some sort of case manager. That case manager is going to discuss whether or not they have mental health needs, what their physical health needs are, what their dietary health needs are, what's going on with them, what led them there, and how to be able to, because everybody needs something that is personally tailored to them, because everybody's experience is their own experience. And just having that case manager there, having a place, and then the city, if they want to house the homeless, it will save them so much money, not only by housing the homeless, because they could do it, let's say, for $300 a month. Okay, and so if somebody wanted to kind of middleman it, they could charge the city $250 a month. Give the city $250 a month and keep $50 a month for themselves while managing the caseworkers and all that other stuff. So there is ways for it to be commercialized, or for advocacy groups to come in and to do some real work, the work that they pretend that they actually want to do. But this gives them an actual opportunity. By dropping by having rent, something like that, having the city cover that for the homeless, trying to save money, putting the homeless back to work. So therefore, it becomes a net positive. It actually becomes something that the city could look at as something profitable. And so the homeless, instead of taking a drag on all of these services, because they are doing their part to take care of their community, they may not be fully functional to have a full-time job working at either McDonald's or some factory or some warehouse, but cleaning up the streets and just taking a broom and, okay, these are your 2 blocks, you're here for this many hours, this is what you do, and you go and you clean it up, and you get paid for it, and that payment goes towards your rent. So now all of a sudden the city is kind of, in a lot of ways you could call it double dipping, because not only they're paying the $300 for your rent, but then they get that back because you're working for them. Now they can collect it back because you now make more money than is necessary, so the city doesn't have to pay for it. So now the city's putting you to work doing its low skill tasks, and those low skill tasks are saving the city money, on top of the fact that the city isn't having to pay a lot of these overall overhead for the care of the homeless, whether it be the city, the state, or the feds. And I think that if something like this were implemented nationwide, I think something like this would be very, very beneficial. I'm curious to see if you think that my idea is even worthwhile, if you think it's a good idea, if you think it's a bad idea, because as you guys heard me talk about activism, one of the things that I plan on using my platform for, as far as activism and becoming a homeless advocate, is something along this lines. This is the idea I have. This is something that I want to do. So that means I would have to talk to the mayor. That means I'm going to have to talk to the building owner. I'm going to have to talk to all of the people and see, hey, are you willing to just kind of, let this experiment run? Because I don't have the money. I was talking to a friend about this today, and this was one of the things I told him. I says, I could actually show you a good way to possibly, fix the homeless crisis, not only for those that are currently out there, giving them something to kind of get that peaceful final existence. Some of them will get off the streets, some of them won't, or most of them won't, but those people, they should at least be able to have the last little bit of their life in dignity. But those that are newly coming out to become homeless, they at least have an opportunity. They don't have to live with the fear and the anxiety of, oh no, I can't pay my rent. Now I got to go sleep on a street corner and get harassed by somebody or something along those lines. Okay, and so this will make the homeless epidemic kind of go away in a lot of ways, because once you house your population, there's no such thing as homelessness anymore. Okay, but you know, the housing first is a decent idea, but it's never been properly implemented here in the States. Now it was properly implemented down in Europe, but you know, we're not Europe, we're America. So until we get something successful here that allows all the greedy capitalists to make their money while still maintaining the dignity of a human being, you know, it is what it is. So I'd love to hear your opinion. You know how to become a subscriber, or you know how to help the channel. Become a subscriber. Come on over to Patreon. Everything else is down in the description. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow in the next video.